I'm Steve McShane.
And I'm Maia Carroll.
Coming up in the next half hour, we will begin in the garden, taking the best of your garden into your home and to the table.
Nutrition is on the menu. Coming up next. I'm Maia Carroll. Welcome to this edition of Begin in the Garden.
I'm Steve McShane with McShane's Nursery.
Where can you get the freshest, healthiest vegetables? If you're not growing your own, ask a farmer.
We tagged along with two local nutrition experts at a local farmer's market to see what exactly we can grow in our own backyards.
Hi, I'm Chris Moss. I work for the Monterey County Health Department and I coordinate one of the nutrition programs. We're here at the Monterey Farmers Market to see all the things that are grown by farmers here. But you don't have to be a farmer to do this. Lots of these things can be grown in your backyard.
And I'm Edie Wiltsey. I'm the WIC Program Director, also an employee of the Monterey County Health Department. And we do a lot of work together.
Yep.
And today, we're going to go shopping.
Lots of advantages to buying at farmers markets, and behind me is Sensen Organics, Alex Sensen. He sells food that he produces off an acre, everything from on the other side of the berries. The important thing to know about buying from a farmer's market is you are shortening that chain between the production of the food and your consumption. So sometimes it's a little cheaper, but a lot more of that profit goes to the farmer and a lot more of that nutrition goes to you. Alex's food hasn't spent 5,000 miles in 3 or 4 days on a train or in a truck. It's come from his farm to you. This was picked this morning. The flowers that I'm holding were cut this morning. So the benefits of buying at a farmer's market, it's a little fairer to the farmer, much tastier for you. Farmer's market food is produced so it's tasty right off the vine, right off the stem. Well, Alex and I have been talking and I asked him what are some of the crops that are a little easier for the home gardener to grow. Alex tells me that kale is an easy one to grow. I think that's wonderful because it's incredibly nutritious. Kale has got iron, it's got all kinds of vitamins, lots of ways to prepare it. As you can see, it's beautiful here. It's all, you can almost put it in a vase. Bell peppers, it's not just a garnish for the plate, it's something that's full of vitamin C, full of crunch. That's basil, isn't it, Alex? Yeah, basil. Wonderful herb. Italian food, all kinds of dishes. Mince that up and put it in there. Looks good and it tastes good. Celery's one of my favorites. Anytime you want crunch, there it is. And then of course berries. We're known for our berries in the central coast, and we should be. They are delicious. They are absolutely yummy. But the most important thing is how it looks and how it tastes on the plate, because that's what's going to keep you eating it. That's what's going to keep your family eating it.
We'll get back to our nutrition experts in just a minute. But first, the best gardens start with a plan. Steve McShane will tell us to get that delicious crop, you've got to have the right tools for the job.
Well, beginning in the garden means beginning with the right tools too. Many of us have a whole garage full of tools. We don't know the use of one to another, and in many cases they're either broken or liable to break at any minute. So I want to just mention a few things about essential tools for the garden. The first is a good shovel. I mentioned this one here because this is tempered. Tempered's an important piece to any kind of tool that you're going to want. By that, it was made with a lot of heat and it's going to hold up. Notice that this is all one piece right here. There's a good fasten between what ultimately is a real nice strong birch wood. Going to be hard to break this shovel. And this is a value price shovel in that it's not going to break your budget either. In some cases, you can get shovels with even stronger wood and, in this case, stainless steel. Feel the weight on that. In any tool, you want to make sure it's got good balance to it. Sometimes you'll notice that in poor construction, it'll flop on you and it really won't perform. So something to keep in mind. A round-headed shovel is an important ingredient to any garden. Also, a good rake. I mentioned this one because this is actually called a Thatch Master. This isn't going to just work well for leaves in and around cleaning your garden, but it's also going to work good on your lawn. Many people will ask me, geez, why the heck is my lawn greening or yellowing? Why is my lawn just looking like it's sick? Well, in many cases it's because of thatch buildup, so a good rake will break that up. You just rake the heck out of your lawn real deep, and in no time you find your lawn's getting better water penetration, it's taking nutrients and your fertilizer better, those kinds of things. Some other good tools that I want to mention, this is called a hula hoe here. Only mostly professionals have these, but I tell you, in the garden, for the home gardener, this can save your back. This blade right here is ideal for breaking up weeds. You better believe it. It penetrates below the soil surface and will get weeds killed at the in the root zone. So just working this through the soil will actually work well to take care of weeds. A good hoe is always a good investment. Notice that these tools are a little bit more pricey, but they've got aluminum handles. In many cases, aluminum will outperform wood. You just got to pay attention to the gauge. And again, remember that balance on a tool. So lots and lots of options in the garden. And I just want to tell folks, all they really need is a good shovel, a good rake, and something to help them in controlling weeds. Whether it be a hoe or a hula hoe, those are the essentials. Moving on to hand tools, there's a lot of options there as well. The first ingredient is a good trowel. In this case, this is a premium trowel. It's stainless steel, and it's got the ability to get weeds as well. A good hand hoe is a good idea as well. This will help cultivate your garden bed. Again, stainless steel design. This is a high quality implement. And finally, another type of hand hoe. This will help you with weeds. It'll also help you with harvesting and cultivation as well. Many, many tools. Don't need to overwhelm yourself, but 2 or 3, including a cultivator, a trowel, and a hand hoe, are pretty much all you need.
If you want to eat from your garden or eat regionally, you might be a locavore. Cheryl McEwen, a master gardener, is here to tell us more about eating from your garden and eating locally. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Tell me how the locavore trend, or word even, began.
I think it probably began with the farmer's market and eating local, eating fresh. People don't like to have herbicides or pesticides in their food or anything like that. And the food just tastes that much better when it's grown locally instead of being grown to be shipped. A lot of other things that you find at the farmer's market are stuff you wouldn't find on the shelves at your grocery store.
So what are some things that people are bringing into farmers markets that 20th century urbanites might be surprised that they could eat?
What we think of as weeds. You've got dandelions, lamb's quarters, stuff like that that we normally would pull up out of our garden. A lot of these things are used for medicinal purposes, and we just lost that connection. A lot of these things can be integrated into our landscape, whether it's, vegetables or ornamentals. Some of this stuff looks gorgeous, like Swiss chard and kale can be implemented all over the landscape, and it's gorgeous and edible right out of the garden.
What about gardening for your table? What are tried and true plants that people can always grow in their garden?
Tomatoes are probably the #1 most popular plant, along with some of the other like onions and cucumbers and stuff like that. And you can integrate them into your landscape to make them look gorgeous in there.
Right, thanks very much, and thanks for sharing your tips with us.
You're welcome.
the things that we're so lucky here is to have all these fresh fruits and vegetables. These are the original finger foods for kids. They're sweet, they're small, you can pop them, you can always carry them, and these are the things that we're always, and we're going to try one right now. Here's my original dessert, and these are the foods that we want our moms to be giving to kids. There's a huge array here. We have many kinds of grapes right here. We have the blueberries, we have the red raspberries, we have blackberries, blueberries, white raspberries. And we just live in a wonderful, wonderful place where so much of the year we have these vegetables and these fruits available to us. It's easy for moms to introduce a wide variety of fruits because they're so naturally sweet. But we forget too that tomatoes are very sweet. And if you look at some of these varieties here, the very small tomatoes are often the sweetest tomatoes, and that's a very nice finger food for children to start eating early on, so they get the idea that vegetables can be sugary or sweet as a flavor. Then I want to move on to some of the squashes. These are foods, again, that can be finger foods for children. They do not have the same sugar content. However, they are very good as a raw vegetables, packed with vitamins, packed with minerals, and they're very good to use with dipping sauces. The red peppers are particularly sweet, so they may not need a dipping sauce, and yet you can still get a large vegetable with a lot of vitamin C in it that, of course, is very good for our children. Well, next year I'm going to begin in my garden and plant some new things that I've seen here today, and hopefully have a little success.
It's inspiring. When you look up and down the rows and see all the potential, all the things that we can grow on the Central Coast, it really makes you want to go out there and do it yourself, and if it doesn't work, I'll come back here.
Our own Chef Todd says grill up those vegetables. Your own garden vegetables can add color and taste to your dining.
I'm Chef Todd. From the garden to the grill, a little cauliflower, asparagus, nice fillet of tuna. All I need now is a fork and some friends. Enjoy. To make our grilled asparagus and cauliflower orzo salad, we need to grill some cauliflower. So basically what we want to do is we just want to go ahead and cut it into 3 or 4, maybe even 5 nice sections, trying to keep it together as best as possible. We're just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on there, right on top of the cauliflower. And then we just want to make sure it's well coated. Go ahead and flip it. A little bit will get down on the plate so we can kind of toss it. Add a little bit of that salt and pepper back on there. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get this on the grill. So we'll just go ahead and set that cauliflower right on there. And again, we're using those 2 big center pieces first. We'll go ahead and throw one more. And then again, this can be used for a lot of other things. We can steam it, we could just do a little quick saute with it. We definitely don't want to waste that. That's good, delicious, usable cauliflower. Now the cauliflower is going to take about 8 minutes total, 8 to 10 minutes. So we're just going to go to kind of let that do its thing while we get started on something else. So we're going to do a little bit of the asparagus. We'll get that next. In grilling the asparagus, it's very much the same as the other vegetables that we've grilled. We're going ahead and again, a little bit of olive oil on there. Not a lot, but we need some on there. Again, a little bit of a dry vegetable, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then just go ahead and get those, and toss those. So we're just going to get that asparagus, roll it around, get it all well coated. We'll get that on the grill as well. So it doesn't take a lot of time, and you got to make sure you go across the grill at an angle because you don't want it to fall through the grill. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and again cut the sides of the bell pepper off. Cutting that into 4 equal parts. Go ahead and use that bottom piece as well. Go ahead and make sure we get that asparagus moved around. We want it to grill, but we don't want it to scorch in any one area. We just want some nice grill marks on there. The flouring end is going to tend to want to grill faster than the actual stock itself. So you need to kind of make sure that you don't burn any of the asparagus. You just want a nice char on it, imparting a little smoky flavor. And then our cauliflower is ready to be turned, and it's just going to be gorgeous. As you can see, it's just starting to get that nice char on there. So our asparagus is just about ready to come off. Get that off there, set it onto our platter, Now we're going to just set that aside. You can see how beautifully bright green it is. We've locked in a lot of the vitamins and minerals, and it's perfect, absolutely perfect, ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and get our bell pepper ready. A little bit of olive oil on there. Again, season them up. Don't want anything going on the grill that hasn't been seasoned. Now again, be careful with the bell pepper as you coat them, because the one side has a little bit of a pocket. You can hold on to some of the excess oil, and you don't want to cause any flare up on the grill. Just go ahead and set those on there. Let those start grilling. We have a little albacore tuna fillet here. I'm just going to go ahead and take those. It's a nice tuna loin. Came from my distributor over in Santa Cruz. Now we're not going to add any oil to this. We'll just go ahead and add nice salt and pepper crust on each side. If we do a lot of pepper, it'll be kind of like doing a steak au poivre. Get those crusted up nice. Give them one turn. Do the same thing on the other side. And I'll just brush a little oil right onto the grill. So now the grill is nice and lubricated, so nothing's going to stick to it. Then we'll take that tuna and put it straight on. We're going to go ahead and begin assembling our salad, and to do so we need to cut a little bit of that grilled cauliflower up. So we're just going ahead and kind of start making some rough chops. And we don't want too big of bites in there. Really, it just takes a cut across the top, and we've got nice little grilled florets over here to use. We need a little bit of our bell pepper that we're just going to do kind of a grilled bell pepper, just kind of a nice julienne on. That goes in our bowl as well. Take some of our grilled asparagus. And we're just going to kind of run the blade through it, a little bit of an angle, 2 to 3, depending on the size. And that also is going to go right into our bowl. Now, because we've got all this beautiful grilled fresh vegetables, we're not going to go ahead and make a real heavy dressing. We're just going to take a little more of that beautiful California olive oil. That goes in. And then I've got a little bit of a sherry wine vinegar that I want to use. So that goes in as well, just a little bit. Takes about 3 tablespoons. And then we're just going to ever so gently give that a nice toss, as well as a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Let's go ahead and move that off to the side. Get our serving platter here. Now I've got a little bit of that orzo that was cooked just basically according to the recipe right in the box. It's you know, about 8 to 10 minutes, just till nice and al dente. It's still a little bit firm, or al dente to the tooth. And in goes that cooled orzo. It's been chilled. It's got a little bit of oil on it to keep it from sticking together. And that goes right in there. We'll get a spoon over here. And we're just going to begin gently tossing that, mixing it all in there. As we begin to toss it, we'll take a little bit of our fresh basil and just tear some leaves right into our salad. And we're just going to pick some Italian parsley leaves in there as well. Get that in there. As we start to get that a nice stir,